Hey guys, welcome to episode 143 of the League of Legends Anonymous podcast. I am your host Sam, aka JustCasual here. I have with me Brad, aka Adeptt.
Hey guys, that's me. I'm happy to be here.
And we got Aiden, aka Tom Stench.
Every single time.
That's right.
Every single time.
Did you just call him Tom Stench?
Yeah, that's his summoner name.
It is officially that, yeah.
And that's what I introduce people as, their summoner name, but I'm like, it's your summoner name, but it doesn't really
It'll probably change in a couple weeks anyways.
Hey, stanky ass fish man.
Yeah.
Exactly. How you guys doing tonight? Doing
Good
well?
to be here.
I'm Aces, baby.
Yeah, you're a reoccurring guest, Aiden. We love you.
Yeah, really.
Everyone loves you.
You know what? It's because we do the video show, and look at that smile. Look at those
Yeah.
pearly whites. Show them off.
No one else gets
There
to see
you
it
go.
though.
No.
They can see it on YouTube, like there are 8 watchers on YouTube, which 2 of them might be me while I'm trying to upload it. But, you know,
Yeah.
it's all good. Well, big patch happened. But before we talk about the patch, we got some pre-show announcements, specifically Patreon, because it's usually done at the beginning of the month where we shout out our patrons for being awesome and helping us out so much to continue contributing to the show, support us financially so we can do cool stuff like, you know, buy equipment, pay our hardworking audio editors, and do more giveaways and those kind of things. So yeah, way to hit your mic there, Brad.
It was sassing me.
Well, Brad, you wanna do this part?
You goddamn right. First off, Dr. Ham, then RM Ezreal, and I say your name wrong every single time, and I'm sorry, but you're welcome. Chris P, Ted K, Big Dick Vic 42, Bullet Bill X, Askley, you wrong every time. AK3331, I assume it's a Keel, you get mad at me every time. Inquisitor Kane, Dare to Fail, Nobody, Comeback X Kid, Emil Richter, Gunday Monday, Ice Orbs, Eric W, Anna G, Brad S, Grumpy Conductor, Whoppy Floppy, Barnsey, Blackbeard Bandit, Ruku, and motherfucking Victor.
It's definitely Ruku egg, by the way, or some version of that. Mm-hmm.
I feel like
it is. It definitely definitely is. And we got some new patrons
if
too.
you don't put any sort of punctuation in there, it's not on me.
Okay, fair enough.
Spacing, you know?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, we have new patrons?
Yeah, for this month. You see right above that?
Oh, shit. Those are my main boys.
Yeah, those were our continuing patrons. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for continually
We
giving.
got HT. We got Chuggington. We got Ian. We got Gillians, I'm assuming. We got Mod Sob Wolf, Cray, Blake M, Scriff, and Jake C. Never forget Jake C.
Yeah. Welcome to being an anonymous, I guess.
Hey,
Right? We should probably say that more.
I'm happy you have your antlers.
There's some crossover between League Cast and here apparently. I know a bunch of those names.
Oh yeah, we got some
Yeah.
really.
Do you want to do them next
generous
time
people.
and read them better? I love doing this, but I am fully aware that I am not saying your names properly except for Whoppy Floppy.
Yeah, Whoppy Floppy's pretty easy. He's also in here. So is Chugs. Especially
What's
that are our
happening,
patrons.
boys?
Got a lot of people in here. This is awesome. Anyway, let's get on with the show. And I forgot before patch discussion, we have something else we want to talk about. Specifically, I want to talk about. We do a segment called Don't Be That Guy every now and then. Basically, we want to say, don't be this guy that we keep running into on Summoner's Rift and in our games. And so with that, don't be the guy that gets really fed in their games and then blames your loss on your teammates. Once you are fed, you have the responsibility to carry everyone else, even if your teammates are good or bad, because you have the gold, you have the power, and you have the responsibility now. What do you guys think about that?
Yes.
Happens way too often.
So, as the guy that tends to get fed early game and then fuck things up after that,
Oh, did I say your name in this? Oops, I didn't mean to.
hey, here's the thing. My teammates are bad and I'm the greatest.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
No, but in all seriousness, sometimes it's really hard to transition that lead, right? Like,
Yeah.
especially if you're a top laner and you're like, like let's say you're a Trendemir and you're like, I'm just going to push and they have to draw attention to me. Well, if even if you're drawing 2 or 3 people and your team's not reacting to it, you then need to react to the way that is operating, right? So just because you're big doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want and your team needs to adapt to you. Because you're super ahead means you should adapt to what your team needs and play accordingly.
I can kind of agree with that. I think I agree with that.
What part of you doesn't agree with that?
Okay, well, actually, I'll say this. I agree with that wholeheartedly in the sense that you can only control what you do, right? So you can be super stubborn and try to play your game, or you can man up, put aside your ego, and like do what you need to do to win the game, which sometimes is like follow that idiot that keeps calling things and everyone keeps following them, but you have to if you want a higher chance of winning the game. I agree with that. So yes, I agree. Never mind, Brad. We're good.
I mean, that said, if you are able to split push and your team is effectively, handling their business, basically just not dying while you apply pressure and then they're applying pressure as a countermeasure, that's all good. Or if you're, a fed assassin and you're just picking a person off and then you guys are pushing for things, keep doing what you're doing. But if you're, what's a good example? If you're, let's say you're Maokai and you get a bunch of kills early and you get first turret and you're like, I'm split push Maokai now. Probably not the most effective usage of your gold lead. Perhaps if you went with the team and just, old Maokai anyways, and you were like, now no one dies ever because I am the greatest tree of life, then that's a better way to play. So use your gold lead to your team's advantage, not to your advantage.
Well said. Aiden, you got anything?
Yeah, on a very similar note, we can look at like a hypothetical where you're either like Tyler won the best North American Draven player in the world, or you're Hashinshin the super top, and even if you like hard carried the game, right, you're like 100-0, you're still playing a team game. You still have 4 other teammates, and guess what? If you don't want to play with them, it's going to be a hard game to carry, right? So play with your team, don't blame your team. Even if you're 100-0, you still probably can't carry that game by yourself solely. So play the team game like it's meant to be played, or else you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, and I totally sympathize, and we've all been there where we are the fed ones and we can't win the game, right? And your team makes a stupid Baron call or do stupid things or things that you just don't agree with, but I really don't think people understand that if they are fed, they are fed. They have the responsibility. They have the most damage or the most tankiness or the most ability to carry the game, and it's actually like the weight is on their shoulders now, not that they're fed. If I'm a Lux that's 5-0 and like everyone else is like 0-2, like I'm the only person now that can really make sure that has the most power to win this game because I have the damage.
Let's just quickly say,
sure,
just because you're fed doesn't mean you're gonna win every game.
Yes,
I've had games where I'm like, I don't know, play, let's say RE mid, and I'm like 6-0, and I'm like this, or even like 3-0, but up 50 CS, and I'm like, this is the shit, we're gonna win. And then you look down and your bot lane's 0-18, and you're like, well, don't fucking flame those guys. Try to do what you can to, let's say it's 0-7, because that's more reasonable at that point in time. And like, do what you can to try to bring them back into the game. Not be like, you fucking assholes are the reason that we lost the game. No, you fucking asshole are the reason that you lost the game because you didn't help them when you had a lead. Like, that's a big thing that people don't take into consideration. Just because you got ahead doesn't mean that you were doing the most you could do. Like, having an advantage is great if you use that advantage to get your teammates ahead. It's kind of, all right, we're in the NBA playoffs. We're going to make an example out of this. So I'm a huge basketball fan, but if you look at, like, Russell Westbrook had a phenomenal year this year. He averaged a triple-double for the first time since Oscar Robertson in the 50s. That's crazy. His team wasn't that good, and most of his teammates didn't do that well because everything went through him. He had, like, the highest usage rate of any player ever, I believe. And then you look at teams like the Rockets with James Harden or the Cavs with LeBron James, where those guys are taking 15, 16, 17 shots a game, but their teams are winning because they're facilitating and making their entire team better. So Their stats still look good, not as good, but they look good because they're doing things to make their team progress, and those teams are still in the playoffs and the Thunder aren't. So, what I'm saying is, if you're the best player on your team, your job isn't to try to kill everything by yourself. Your job is to put your team in the best position to win and help make everyone do well instead of you just being the shit and they're all nothing.
Yeah. Amen. I like that. Woo. Spin that fire, Brad.
Dial on.
All right, let's move on to a patch discussion. So 7.9 came out. We talked about 7.9 last week. More of a what we expect to happen. Some of it we will talk about again. Some things we'll talk about new. But now that the patch has been out and we've got to play a little bit on it, and more information has come out, and we've just seen how numbers are. Let's start with the first thing. The biggest things on the patches are the 3 tank reworks, Sejuani, Maokai, and Zac. And I think just as a quick summary of what happened, Sejuani was super busted. Maokai got really bad in the top lane, but became like the number 1 support now. Or number 2, number 1, still ridiculous. And Zac also had a horrible win rate. So what's up, guys? What happened?
Bruh.
Boy,
Zac has been my highest win rate champ for like 3 seasons. And here's the thing. His ult just feels like garbage. Because so you jump in, right? And you're like, I'm going to scoop up the 80 carry and bring him back to my team. But they walk out, or they flash out, or they E out because everyone has an E.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, I'm here now. Whereas before, you could like E in and then flash behind him and ult and just bounce them back a little bit and then bounce to your 80 carry and you're like, now I'm your friend. I got your back. Let's do this. And the Q feels real good. The ult feels real bad and doesn't feel like a fair trade-off.
So you still have the ability to use his old ult, though, right?
No, you get 1 bounce. You don't get
just 1 bounce?
Yeah, you don't get to No, you get 1 and it's not worth it. And it like changes the way your screen looks real quick and you have like all these shit, like you have like the circle for you expanding and then you see like the circle to where you could jump to. It's a lot going on. And I'm like, you know what? Give me the old ult back. Give me that new Q, because that new Q is legit. But the rest of it, you can keep it. I don't want it.
So
take 1 bounce away from the old ult, give me that back, and then give me the new Q.
So as a resident Zac player, do you think the whole ult thing is something that just takes getting used to and people get better at it, or do you think something needs to change?
So we talked about this a little bit yesterday. It's okay as a zoning tool, and there are ways that I've seen it work and I've had it work, but it just doesn't feel good. Like, because the cool thing about Zac right before was you could both be the engage and then the peel for your 80 carry. So you could jump in and then you jump in on the back line, you boom, pop that ult, and you bounce everyone along the way, and then boom, you're in front of your 80 carry over here. And now you're like, haha, I did everything, motherfucker. I'm like Leona Plus. And they don't know how to handle that because you're the man and they should know it, but they didn't realize fast enough. And now it's like, hey, I'm going to bring Poppy and Malphite to my team by mistake. I didn't really want to, but so we go. Like, you just give people a free ride into your backline. It's like Ryze ult that the other team can take.
Yeah, I've seen his ultimate used the most effectively when it's used as like a peeling tool rather than an engage tool. Like having Zac sit on your 80 carry, and then if like a bruiser gets on them, then you ult the bruiser away. That's the only time I've seen his ult used effectively. I've seen so many people whiff it. I've seen that ult missed more than any other ult in the game.
Right, so, you know, kind of like what I was saying. Like, it just feels shitty to use now. You're like, exact support? You have CC with your Q? You have CC with your E? You have CC with your ult? Huh? How about it? Let's try it. I'm sure it's terrible. This is not a real claim.
Well, he's manaless, so that's always nice. So he can harass, but his harass isn't that easy because he's still melee. There is a lot of CC. So I mean, if you have paired him with a Draven, I'm sure that'd be great. You know,
I
someone
guess
that has a high
if
damage.
you level 2 with Q and E, you could probably get a ton of damage down.
Yeah, if you just hold them still for Draven to hit like 2 extra auto attacks because they're CC'd forever, just like a Leona. But I don't.
The real bummer for a fellow like me that loved playing Zac top, his Q was his wave clear, and now his Q is gone because it's single or double target.
So yeah, you seriously can't do any. Oh man, that
'cause
really sucks.
You would max Q in top lane because you could crush the wave down real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gone. Thanks.
Now
Riot.
it's just W, and that's.
And you don't want to do that ever because you're like, this does very little damage, and now I'm in the middle of everything. Please hit me for free several times. I would love that.
Okay. What about Sejuani?
I haven't played her. She seems broken in every game I've seen her.
She's 100% pick ban. I haven't played against her, but I mean the fact that I haven't seen her in like the 20 games I've played kind of scares me. You know what I mean? She's been banned every single game I've played.
Yep. I've seen her once.
I heard there was supposed to be a hotfix for her.
There was. It was like the first 24 hours.
Wait, there
she
was
was
already a hotfix and she's still like that?
Her and
It came
Zac.
out Yeah, I think it came out like within the first 24 hours of the patch. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
Yeah, she just has a lot of damage and a ton of CC. So it's just like what they were not trying to do with the tank. They're trying to take away damage and give him CC, which she got, but she just does a ton of damage and even with the hotfix, I think her win rate's pretty good. It's like she's number 1 jungler I think right now.
Ivern,
sure.
but I mean other than Ivern.
I refuse to play Ivern.
Yeah.
I don't care how much LP it gets me. I'm not doing it. I don't like green that much. It's not my favorite color.
It's weird that the hotfix for Sejuani, they nerfed her health, which I'm like, okay, that's a good change, right? But then they nerfed her W damage mana cost. Like, I feel like the part that's broken of her is her passive is one of the best passives in the game because it doubles her armor and magic and gives her 100, which is disgusting, and it stops slows. And her
crazy.
like that's 100% her, and then you can shatter targets for 20% of their maximum health after level 14. Like
yeah.
That's a passive. Like I feel like that's the thing they need to look at, not the other. Like when they had old Sejuani, they complained. They're like, hey, Sejuani's not a good character because all of her powers in her ultimate, right? Her old ult where you can hit a 5-man stun and win your team the game.
Yep.
But like new Sejuani, they're nerfing her not very good abilities, but keeping her OP passive. It seems like they're putting her back in this spot of having one good ability.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She also gets way more stuns now, which she didn't get before she got slows, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I'm okay with that passive. I think it's really scary, but I mean, she stuns by auto attacking, right? She like procs or does damage
Kind
to
of like
them.
Braum.
Yeah, so it's not like she's not building attack speed and she's not hitting everyone really quickly in quick succession. So I'm okay with that. And she just does so much damage. But again, I have not seen her in like any of my games except one, and I think
she's banned in every fucking game.
Yeah, I've banned her in
There
every
was
game.
one game that we played together that you didn't pick her when she was available. I was like, so you done fucked up, boy.
I didn't expect. I'm not used to Sejuani being a thing. You know, that's the issue. It caught me off guard. Okay, so Maokai. Maokai's he's not as tanky as before, and the huge thing about his support, he builds AP damage, like just straight up AP, which is crazy, which is really weird and absolutely counterintuitive to what Riot was designing for. I heard he's okay as a tank in the bot, but like he is
Is the tank in the top, you mean?
no
Instead of
in the
tank
bot in support, but his
You're saying
AP
it's better
support.
as an AP scaling support.
Yeah, he builds pen, magic pen,
So
and
what
then
are you
just
doing,
does
like a Leandry Sork Shoes build?
yeah. And the thing is, you max E and you just put them in the bushes, and they either get zoned out or they eventually get hit by them. And then you could cheese people, because if you think about it, you can, let's say you're on blue side, which is the bottom, and they're at blue buff. You can put like 2 saplings or 3 saplings in that tri-bush over the wall. So when bot lane comes through it, they lose like a few pots coming into lane.
You know, it's weird. I feel like this is a thing I suggested to you yesterday. Too.
But yeah, it's ridiculous because one thing is that you can forego Sightstone as your first item because you have the saplings. Just first item. So you can finish Frost Queen first item. Because you have saplings that stay in the bush for like 70 seconds. And then you have your trinket, so it's plenty of vision.
Wait,
And
is
then
it 70 seconds now?
yeah, in the bush.
Because weren't the old saplings 45 seconds?
I believe the 40
I believe they're 45. Yeah.
45, yeah.
And the new
Wow,
ones are
so it's
30, but they
70
scale up to
seconds?
70. They scale up to 70.
Oh, okay. So
then-
probably early you're looking at like 45. But I mean, that's similar to a trinket, so it's okay. I'm with
It's
you.
better than a trinket because
And you can
if the
re-up
jungler
it
walks in,
quickly.
you half health them.
And slow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You do half the health to people, squishies that walk by. It doesn't work well against people that build MR because you're doing a magic pen build, but if you get an E on a squishy target from a bush, they're half health.
Can we talk about how much bullshit it is that landing the E on people doesn't do damage anymore?
Well, I'm okay with it noticing how much ridiculous damage it does, but if you're building AP,
But I just remember,
it's
like,
crazy.
when I used to play, I played like AP Maokai mid a couple of times, and the idea was you would throw the E up in the air, and they'd look up at it, and then while they were looking up, you'd W onto them, and then the E would land, and then you'd Q them, and the E would pop, and you'd smile,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd be dead, and that was a great day.
No, it does way too much damage for having so little AP. Like, I was playing Lee Sin yesterday, and I'm like, oh, they're Maokai support. Here's a sapling in this bush. I guess I'll just walk through it. And then it killed me because it did 520 damage.
Holy Christ! Do you know what the scaling is offhand?
Yeah, it's right here, actually. So the base scaling on it, like, per level, it scales from 90 to 290. So it goes to 290, and it does double damage if it's in the bush. So it's actually 580.
Does the sapling have to be in the bush? Like, what if it
Yeah.
chases you out of the bush?
It just has to be in the
Does
bush
that
because it gets
damage
bigger.
go away?
It's like a big buff minion. So.
Okay.
And then it also does it scales from 12% to 16% of your maximum of the target's maximum health with an AP scaling. So late game, you're doing, if it's in a bush, you're doing 580 plus 16% of the target's maximum health.
So you're like Teemo where the mushrooms chase you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's seriously ridiculous.
So
That's why you just
full
build
AP
straight-
Maokai mid is what you're telling me.
Well, you don't get advantage of the bushes as much except just gank control.
But you're like basically just not playing mid. You're just throwing your sapling. You're just walking around like, haha, here's a bush. There's a bush. Let's put a sapling
Yeah.
over here.
And then it has ridiculous objective control because there's bushes everywhere, you know? Baiting out barons are ridiculous, baiting out dragons. And at first it was like, oh, this is super cheesy. You're just putting a whole bunch of saplings in a bush. But it's not that cheesy because people are walking through bushes all the time. Jungle control is important and objectives have bushes all around them. And even in the bot lane, you have to go near the bushes to push. Like, it's too hard to just avoid them.
You don't even have to stack them though. Like, you even just put one
Yeah,
somewhere, right? And then it does
Yeah.
800 of someone's health, and that's good enough to push them off an objective. Like, that's crazy.
See, I'm surprised they didn't hotfix that. Like, seriously. Like,
Yeah.
I think this is so ridiculous. And luckily Maokai's really not that hard to play. Actually, his ult is hard to use.
His ult's awful. That's why.
Use it point blank. Just use it point blank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard people using it like sideways if they're running away, because then they have to walk through each lane of it, and that can zone people off. Or even aim it towards where you're running, like a Janna Q, for example, your escape
'Cause you're
path.
faster than the fucking thing.
Yeah, so and like you can't you don't want to flash over
For real,
it.
Ryan, what the
because-
fuck is up with that ult? That's garbage.
Okay, seriously, everyone hates the alt, and I haven't used it yet, but I don't think it's
like-
that bad.
It's shittier Nami wave.
Yeah. Okay, the thing is though, it being just up so long because it's so slow is like
Sam.
it's like putting up a Nivea wall that just stays there
Don't
forever.
You defend Riot on this one.
Maokai ult is like a Nivea wall. Oh no.
It's
like
a huge
base ability that's up every 12 seconds. It's like that.
Oh man. No, seriously though. Okay, again, I haven't played it, but everyone underestimated it because it comes so slow. And then 2, it just stays there forever. So if you're in the middle of a fight, you're like, okay, Maokai ult's coming. I can't move forward for like 4 seconds, 5 seconds. This is taking forever.
How am I ever gonna flash over this fast-moving? I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. If you use the ult in a different direction,
railroad track and some guy's pumping a mine cart at you, like we're gonna take you out, Samon.
But it's eventually gonna get to you, and that's the thing. You have to
But you get the fuck out. You just,
no. This is what it's like. No, hey, hold on.
High five the guy that's driving the mine cart.
No, this is what happens. You have you're going through a tunnel in the mountains, and that mine cart is coming in from the end of the tunnel, and you're like, well, I can't get through the tunnel, and I have to wait 30 minutes for this stupid idiot to pump his minecart all the way through.
Jump over that fucking minecart because who gives a shit?
But
I do think people are using it wrong, though. I think that you have to use it in a chaotic team fight. If you use it to catch someone,
it's a point blank fucking thing.
You literally, if you I was playing one game of Maokai and I used it to catch people a couple times, and they just walk the other way. They walk out of it really slowly because they can they can outrun it, right? If you have to literally use it as in a team fight as a flanking tool or an engaging tool to push them off, right? If you don't use it that way, it's never gonna hit anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't just lay it down and expect to catch someone far away. No, you like you said, chaotic team fight, because again, it just stays there forever. It's like an Nivea wall and a Nivea ult is there, and you just can't go through it. You just have to wait and wait. And honestly, every time I got hit by a Maokai ult, I died. Not gonna lie. I'm just like, oh, it's fine. I'll just walk around it, and I got hit by it. It's pretty pathetic, but yeah, Maokai support. I don't know how long that's gonna.
Perfectly.
I don't know how long the Maokai support's gonna last. I feel like that's gonna get killed next patch or something because it's really strong.
I still rain kittens.
Yeah, I still feel like he's the most balanced out of the 3 characters on release right now. His sapling's overtuned, but the rest of his kit... Okay, his ultimate's terrible, but his sapling's overtuned, but the rest of his kit's super balanced, I find. His Q and his W are super balanced, and I feel like his passive is maybe a little bit too strong, but I mean, it's not anything to, nerf, I'd say.
Yeah, we're just super OP and Zach.
Yeah, Zach's awful. He's a 40% winner, I think.
I'm 1-0 on Zach, and I'm not playing him anymore.
Yeah.
It feels real bad.
I'm sorry, Brad.
I know, that's my go-to.
I'm so sorry.
All right, Ernie, I'll start playing Lee every game.
So what else do we want to talk about? I know
Guardian Angel though.
Yeah.
Buy that shit. What? You get Guardian Angel out of a BF sword? Just get it. I'm pretty much anyone that wants to be in the middle of anything ever in your AD and you're planning on building damage, get it early. You'll get more value out of it. Just do it.
Are AD carries rushing it like we kind of thought they might?
Seems like it's second or third.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some AD carries can go it. I think if you're not gonna go if you don't need your static shiv item like static shiv, rapid fire, runons, then you can go at first item, because you just go zeal item, literally just your 1,200 gold zeal and then GA. Those are your 2 build paths: is 1,200 zeal then GA, or going your BF sword then your full zeal item. It's 300 gold cheaper.
Speed item.
Yeah, it gives you very similar stats except that you get a GA passive, the same amount of attack damage, and it's 300 gold cheaper. But you get less attack.
I've also seen a little bit of Bork into GA.
Yeah, I've seen that too, yeah. I think that's because Bork's still overtuned, though.
Bork's still really good, and GA, I mean, anytime you get to build a thing out of a BF sword, that's good, right? You want to do that if you have the money to do it. And if it's oh, wait, I could die and then live again? Yeah, no, yes, that sounds great at 8 minutes or 12 minutes or wherever you are, depending on how ridiculous the early game is. Is Jane asleep behind you, or is there just something lumpy in your bed?
I think it's a pillow.
Because it looks like there's a little hair
That's kind of creepy. Yeah, there is
Yeah.
something lumpy in my bed. I don't know what that is. Tell me if it moves, okay?
Yeah, I will. I'll keep you informed. It looked like there was a little hair on the right side of it, and I was like, is that like a tiny bit of Jane hair? Why does she sleep like that? That seems uncomfortable. She should see a chiropractor.
Yeah. No, that's not Jane.
You're
She's
welcome,
out there.
podcast listeners.
Yeah, you can tune in on YouTube and see what he's talking about. Instead, here. Do you see this thing? Look at this thing. Yeah. Bought it for Jane.
It's like as big as me.
Yeah, it's a king portal. It's freaking huge. It's amazing. It's really cozy too. Anyways, back on track. Yeah, GA's really, really good on bruisers. Anyone that was like Jax, I think Jax's win rate went up because this was like his build path, and then suddenly it's like, hey, we're gonna make this item even better. It's just crazy now. Like Fiora, Jax, who else would build it? Riven. Oh God.
I've been buying it on Lee Sin. So I'm like, I like to go in and do dumbass shit. Like, this sounds great.
Now I can die twice for doing dumbass shit.
I do more damage, and I get to live again? So here's an actual question. So I play a reasonable amount of Lee Sin.
Mm-hmm.
My standard build is Warrior, Black Cleaver, Defense. Unless I'm very ahead, then maybe you get a Tiamat in there at some point, or, maybe a Maul of Malmortis or something. I feel like Warrior, Black Cleaver, GA is the move now, or Warrior. I mean, you want the Black Cleaver because 20% CDR is fantastic, and the Phage passive is wonderful. You also get some health. But if you go back with, let's say you go back with 1,325 gold, is it better to get a BF sword and build towards GA, or a Phage and like a pink ward?
Probably Phage pink ward.
I agree, and I was hoping someone would confirm my opinion.
Like, when I play a lot of Lee Sin myself. Like, I play him. Like, I'd say I made him on my 4 Smurf accounts. Like, it's weird. I play him on every single Smurf just because he's probably the most fun character in the game to play. I'd say, in my opinion, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Normally my build would be Warrior into Black Cleaver into, depending on AD or AP, I go Maw or what's the fast moving tank armor item? Deadman's?
Deadman's,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, so I choose Deadman's or Maw depending on AP or AD. I think I'm going to start going, what's it called? GA instead of Deadman's, though.
After Black Cleaver, though, right? Because
Yeah,
more
of course.
kicks, more plays, more domination.
I'm talking third item, like deciding between Maw or...
I'm right there with you, and I've been going back and forth real hard because I also so in my high silver, low gold, whatever bullshit arena
That's where I play
in,
Lee also, don't worry.
Well, I find
Aiden's the
that
best silver elite
there
ever.
are a whole lot of games where it's like full AD, and then I'm like, oh, they have a Yasuo and a Caitlyn. I guess I should go Randuin's instead of Deadman's, which feels terrible. But I'm like, so much crit for no good reason. Like, why don't you guys pick regular team comps? Why do you have a Jace top, Yasuo mid, Kate bot, Shaco jungle? What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
DGA is OP, though.
Yeah, it's good. Are you happy that it's in the game? How about that? Because I know we're talking about that.
I have a comment. I raised my hand.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that it's an AD item now. I kind of wish it was like an AD tank item a little bit more, because I feel like AP tanks kind of get fucked here. Because the idea before was like anyone could buy GA, right? And you could only get Zhonya's if you were going for AP damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe now that I'm saying it out loud, if you're an AD tank, maybe you don't want to get that anyways because it's too... No, you do, because it's damage and it's awesome and it works all the time. If you're an AP tank, you're relying on your spells to do the AP damage. So Zhonya's is good, but you're not getting as much value out of it as you would be as an AD tank buying GA. So I think my issue is it's not a one-to-one comparison. Now, if you made Zhonya's build out of like a needlessly large rod, now I don't even know if that would make it better. If it was needlessly large rod and seekers, would that be better? I don't think it would.
I mean, that's kind of what it used to be. Not exactly, but it built out of needless.
That was exactly what it was. It was needlessly large rod and seekers. But
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
I think the problem is GA is way too accessible, whereas Zanya is more of a niche buy. And there's no like AP tanks are kind of stuck in this weird middle ground.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the whole like Blake mentioned this before on the last podcast, where it's like damage and tankiness are things that Riot wanted to avoid putting into one item, and it's been mentioned a few times, but then they did it, and it's like
No, it was health and tankiness is what they mostly talked about. Right? So they removed health from a lot of items and they added tankiness. And so it was like you get resistances or health. You get damage and resistance, or damage and health, or health. But what I think would have been cool, and I may be way off base on this, but if they had like an AD version of Zanya's and AP version of Zanya's that were damage and small amount of resistance with an active, and then they had the standard GA that was just for tanks that are diving balls deep.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just like it was before, just resistances and the passive. I think that would have been great. I don't think they're wrong with the direction they went, but I feel like there are certain champions that like AD carries are always going to get that. You're going to see every like fucking Master Yi and Lee Sin and Graves Jungle get that immediately. And like what happens to, I don't know, if Maokai was still a good top laner, where is he sitting? He's not going to get Zanya's. He's not going to get GA anymore because he's not getting anything off of the AD. So he's just kind of like, oh, I guess I just die now and you guys get to live twice. That's great. So happy for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. What about the Rift Herald? We didn't talk about Rift Herald, and that was huge. What do you guys think about Rift Herald?
I think it's alright. I feel like it's not as OP as people think it is.
It gets one really big hit, and then it's around.
And so everyone's like, "Oh my god, did you see that do half the tower's HP? Oh my god, it's broken!" And then it dies.
I think it's really good if you're able to get it and then push to an inhibitor turret. Mm-hmm. If you can pop it on an inhib turret, half HP on an inhib turret's fantastic. Half HP on an outer turret, it's like, all right, cool. You could have done that in a minion wave anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's good. And is there like how long can you hold on to the Rift Herald?
4 minutes.
In your 4 minutes? Oh, that's tough. So getting that into the inhib turret is going to be difficult. I think you'd have to have an early outer turret and then have a really good push somehow to get 2 turrets or something like that.
Yeah, it's basically like you get an outer turret, you fight over the Rift Herald, you kill him, and then off you go.
But you have to address the Rift Herald, right? You can't just leave it alone.
I mean, if you're saying, like, do I fight Rift Herald when there's a Cloud Drake up? Sure. If there's an Infernal Drake and they're going to get Rift Herald, I'm like, yeah, no, I'll take that Infernal.
No, I mean, if the Rift Herald is, summoned and pushing down a lane.
Oh, kill it? Yeah, sure, kill it. It's not that tough.
I'd like to know how it scales like throughout the game because like most of the times that I've seen it, if you just leave it, I think it could take a full tower then like a little bit of another one. That's all. It's not like it's game ending. Though. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think you are. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe we're all wrong.
I think the main thing is we haven't seen it played in competitive, right? Like when people say SKT at like whatever in LCK next split comes up with a strategy where they split with someone plus Rift Herald and then they force
fucking Syndra throw the Rift Herald into their base and it one shots the Nexus and you're like, faker.
Just something though. It's like they find out that you're supposed to split. You have your split pusher plus Rift Herald in one lane, and then you force objectives on the other side of the map. So like your split pusher takes towers because they also have a Rift Herald with them. Then maybe solo queue changes because solo queue adapts based on competitive play. Then it maybe becomes OP. But like I don't think so right now. I don't think anyone knows how to use it though, right?
That
Sure.
also totally makes sense. Where solo queue is a very disjointed, shit ass version of what competitive play is, right? Where we're like, but they said lane swaps. It's like, dude, this is bronze. What are you doing? Go bot, you idiot. Like, get the fuck out of here. We're not lane swapping in silver because every time that happened to me, I just played Renekton and sat there and waited till level 3 and then killed both of them because they didn't. Like, there was no coordination. It was just like, yeah, I'll hit level 3 while you're level 1.5, and off we go. So I take your meaning, and I do think that we will see some interesting uses of the Rift Herald, whereas now it's basically like, oh, well, I have it, and I can put it down, so off we go. Or the first time I got it, where I was like, wait, it's not just a buff anymore?
Yeah,
I
whoops.
didn't use it at all.
Nice.
Does it last forever once you put it down, though, until it dies? Or does it have a timer?
It looked like it constantly took a little bit of damage, like you were playing Gauntlet Legends on the arcade machine.
Oh my
You
god,
guys would
that's
remember that.
that's the worst. That's a great game, and that oh my god, that's the worst.
I'd be
sorry.
curious to know if it actually does take damage, though, over time. Because I feel
It
like...
really looked like it took at least a little bit. I may be mistaken. Like maybe 1% health per second or something.
I hope so, but if it doesn't, then I feel like the proper way to use it, in theory, like theory crafting, is summoning it in your base. Like summoning it, say,
Just let
first
it,
tower
like,
top
chugga,
lane.
Chugga choo choo on down the lane.
Yeah, say your top lane's push, you summon it top lane near your side of the map, and then you go push the other side of the map, and then, wait, what the fuck? They have a Rift Herald just running down top lane. Well, like, you're fighting bottom, right?
Sure.
Oh no, I feel like that would
I
be
can't find
more.
anything about it losing health.
I can't either.
I feel like they would put that in the patch notes if it was.
I don't want to be a dickhead, but we got a lot more to get through, and we're already going a little long.
Sure. All right. So yeah, we'll talk about more Rift Herald once we see some strats. But yeah, it's I like the change. It's a good change, I think, and it's not doesn't seem too overpowered or underpowered right now. Just gotta figure out how to use it. All right. I'm gonna skip one, but one thing I want to talk about, Kassadin. Kassadin. One thing I like
Dude,
to talk about in these
that motherfucker's
things.
been kicking dicks off.
Yeah. If you
Like-
guys saw recently the Apto video, did you guys see that by any chance?
No, but you told me about it.
Yeah, he has like a 95% win rate on Kassadin. Like he's like 93-3 or something ridiculous. And he plays Kassadin, and you watch him, and he's wrecking and zoning at level 1. Or like level 2, level 3. And that's not what Kassadin's a hyper carry, where you lose the first few you lose until like level 6 or 8 or 9 or something, and then you start roaming and killing people.
So before I was ever on this show, like 6 months before, I sent in one question. And my question was to, I'm not going to call him out because he didn't answer my question. But I asked like, hey, mid lane main that's way higher ranked than me, how do I make sure I don't lose a range versus melee matchup? And how do I win a melee versus range matchup? Because I feel like sometimes I get bullied and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I know that Akali only has one fucking spell that can hit me. And I don't know what, like, am I like mispositioning? What am I doing? Am I not autoing enough? Like, and he was like, oh yeah, just buy pots. And I was like, that's not helpful. So I never forget. So that's the thing. If he is significantly better than the people he's playing against, and that's a big part of what comes into it. Is he's knowing like they're gonna walk forward for this, which means when they start this animation, I can throw my QE auto, and they won't have time to do more than like throw a spell at me. And so like that's a big part of it. Is just he started a bullshit basic rank account, and he's dumpstering people that are terrible like me. That said, 93-3 is ridiculous. Because he had to have a couple AFKs throughout that, like right, like he fought through, like that's absolutely nuts. So, just play Kassadin. Don't practice him. Just start him in rank,
Dear God.
and you're gonna do great.
Oh dear. Edit that out, please.
Good advice?
Yeah, great advice. Just like the buy more pots advice.
Oh, Jesus. No, but for real, Kassadin's real strong, especially against APs, because you get the big change that they made on him not too long ago was that you got your magic shield as soon as you hit your Q instead of after your Q landed. So you could do it in a reactionary manner. You didn't have to wait for, like, you didn't have to try to anticipate spells. As soon as they threw and you could throw your Q. That said, his Q does a lot of damage and it's point and click. So it's not that hard to kind of dominate a lane. Not that you should, but if you get off to a bit of an advantage, have at it, brother.
Yeah, Kassadin just does. I think the big thing is that he goes 12 into the resolve tree and gets the one mastery where you get increased armor and magic resist when you go into a fight, basically. And that's exactly what Kassadin needs as he dives in. And with that, what else was it? Oh, shoot. Either way, he's really strong right now. Itemization's pretty good for him. Yeah, Aiden, you have something?
They also buffed him. Like, he was in a fine place, and then on 7.7, they buffed his cooldown on his E, then his Rift Walk. Like, he already had a positive win rate and was good into AP mages, you know what I mean? Like, control mages. And then they buffed him. So, I mean, like, I think Riot kind of didn't know what they were doing, really, and that put him to a place. Like, he was already, like, a top pick, and then they buffed his two best abilities. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe
know.
they wanted to see him in the LCS or something, because he wasn't.
He's a fun champion to see, right? Where you see like
Season 2 Kassadin?
Oh man.
Well, dude, you remember seeing like the occasional like REQ ignite flash out, and then E or R back in Kassadin plays where you're just like, oh shit, he died.
And then he Zonia's away like the ignite that would have
Yeah.
killed him and stuff like that. Yeah, it's super fun.
So basically, he's an AD champ now. Build GA on him.
Dear God.
Do you guys remember Kassadin's pick ban rate at
Real
like
quick,
season
that's
3?
bad advice. Don't build GA on Kassadin.
Was it season 3 where he finally started getting like nerfs?
I mean, like the beginning of season 3 was the highest it ever got. I looked it up now.
What was it?
99.55 in solo queue percent ban rate.
Wait. Oh,
Kassadin.
ban rate? I thought that was a
Ban
win rate.
or
I'm like,
pick,
holy
pick
shit.
Ban rate.
Pick ban, yeah.
It was
But
just
still.
ban rate.
Pick ban.
Jesus.
But still, that's
Yikes.
gross.
I can't believe that his ult was like double the range that it is now.
Dude, yeah, because they changed it from like the Rift Walk to the Rift Skip.
Yeah, and everyone thought,
like,
oh,
this
Kassadin's
is
dead now.
This is ridiculous. It's like, oh no, this is still amazingly good.
That's when I stopped playing Kassadin. I was like, because I was like, Kassadin was my like up to 30 level champion, and then I'm like, oh, they took that away. He can't do anything anymore, and it's like, oh no, like crazy, like jump over walls and come out of nowhere and kill people.
As it turns out, you can still jump over every wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he does pretty well.
I had the same problem with every AP champ after Deathfire Touch went away.
Oh, I'm so happy about that because I never used it, so it was like a indirect buff to me.
I just bought it every game. I was like, this is the greatest. Like, I can kill anyone with every button.
Well,
like,
hey, have you been playing any Gunblade champions?
No.
Because that's
LeBlanc
basically
Army.
that's what it is.
It's not
now.
the same. No,
I know it's not the same,
Dude,
but it's the same
Deathfire
like
Touch. I could ulted someone as Ari, hit Deathfire Touch, and just alt W. That was it for anybody. Like no Q, no E. I just need 2 buttons. But
no skill shots.
I've been considering picking up some Gunblade champs, but I feel like that's got to get nerfed soon. And I generally prefer, like I know people like it on Ari and on LeBlanc. I prefer the straight AP build where like my spells are doing more damage. Even if I'm not necessarily one-shotting people, I'm dropping them low and the team can handle that. Handle my light work, team. Handle my light work.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about the patch before I move on to some listener
that
questions?
was too much.
Too much patch discussion. Yeah, we've talked about this patch a bit. All right, so the first listener question. We got 3 questions from the Facebook group, so don't forget to join that. The link is in the description. We have a Facebook page and a group. The group is where all the discussion happened. The page is where we just communicate things to our listeners and stuff like that. And
I'm going to
some
join the group
discussion
right now.
happened. Ooh, Aiden, good job. You should post a question for everyone.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the first one, Chugs. He asks, what are the changes in early game prioritization for objectives now?
I think they stay the same. I mean, we talked about Rift Herald being good, but it's dependent on what dragon's up opposed to it, right?
Yeah.
I actually would say Rift Herald is less important as my top laner's ahead, give it to him. And it's more of a, let's put this into a lane that could go down quickly.
Yeah.
I think Herald gained some like points on the tier list, but I mean, I don't think it changed much really. No. But like Herald before was like, if I'm playing jungle or if I'm playing top, you guys go do Herald yourself and you can have it because I don't want it because it's not worth my time.
If I wander over there and you're already doing it, sure, I'll help out for a second.
If you want to give it to me after it's done, sure, I'll take it. Like that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Herald. I heard Herald. You can just solo it pretty easy too. It doesn't do like crazy damage, and you could dodge its spells, which is the one that does damage to you, right?
You can glitch into the back wall there.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, the back wall. Like you can hit it into the. Well, if you get it to the very back wall, it will turn around every like 3 seconds for you to hit its eye or something.
Oh, that's real nice. That's real easy. So yeah.
But the main thing is, big dragons greater than Rift Herald.
And if you guys don't know what the general list is, it'd be like first turret blood, Infernal and Mountain Drake are both equally like really good. Then I would say other turrets. Then maybe an easy Drake if you have nothing else to get more turrets.
Probably Rift Herald would have been above the other two dragons. Not even.
It's so dependent.
Dependent on your team. Dependent on your team.
Yeah, I think Aiden, like now, it's like now that I'm thinking and like soaking in on what you said about Rift Herald. I think it's all taking Rift Herald is all about timing, right? So its priority is like it's a priority, but we need to take it at the right time when there's something else to contest, so it could split push. Like you need to set up the split push because it's a split push is like you have one chance. It's like putting a ZZ portal down, except you only get to use it once. Right? So you need to make sure you put it down at the right time where they can't defend it so you can take that turret. I think. So yeah, the priority of Rift Herald, and because it's 4 minutes, that's a kind of a good amount of time to set things up, but
4 minutes is plenty of time.
Yeah,
to set up a lane.
that is pretty good time.
I mean, think about how long you have Baron or like any other.
Yeah. You're right.
4 minutes is plenty of time for you to collectively, assuming you have a team that wants to work together to achieve more.
Okay. Next question is from Chris P. He asks, "What do you guys think about Heimerdinger support?"
No. Bad. Go away.
There was some discussion in the Discord chat
I
about
played a
it.
game yesterday against a guy, not Heimerdinger support, but Heimerdinger top. This man was, I believe, gold 2 or 3, and he had played 460 games of Heimerdinger this season. That's ridiculous.
That's
he had
a
a
lot.
50.01% win rate, and I hated him. I hated everything about him. And you know what? If you play Heimerdinger, I hope you're a nice person because you have no redeeming qualities in your league championship choices.
Aiden, are you a firm believer of the Heimerdinger support?
I'm a firm believer in like some like off meta supports, like Anivia I think is fine, but like Heimerdinger, like you're offering almost nothing. If anything, you're offering something that's going to take CS away from your AD carry.
But
So.
you have a small slow.
I think if you don't level up your turrets, he's good.
So you just
He's
level
good?
the slow?
Good is a weird. Yeah, just only level up your grenade, then don't level up any other abilities if you're going to play him. But like keep the points there, so like if someone dives you can put down turrets. But like don't use them in lane.
That's
so
funny.
basically, fuck off.
Can you heal your turrets with Heimerdinger passive still? Like your actual turrets?
I don't know. He's been so dead to me for a long. Crispy, listen, you crispy motherfucker.
I see what you did
I
there.
like you as a person. I think. I hope. I dream. This was ridiculous. You go away.
Yeah, I would
Or
love
at
to.
least this question go away.
I'd love to hear how that goes. I know like Mammoth Cat and I think Flake Nut were talking about it, but yeah, you do have like anti-gank potential, right? You can keep ganks away with the turrets in the brush, but you still need to be in range of the brush and just put down a ward instead.
How dare all of you?
I'm trying, Chris. I'm really trying, but yeah, or anti-success potential. Yes, good from Blake. Okay, so next question. Jack G asks. Actually, we already talked about it. He was asking about Maokai support being free low, and yeah, it's a strong. Don't bother building him tank. Build him Magic Pen AP, and make sure you're not going into like against a tanky team. That's what I would say. And then of course, make sure you play him like you're squishy because you're really squishy. That's about it, and figure out how to use that ult usefully. Cool.
Yeah,
Good.
It's fine, but just get up in there.
All right. We got no iTunes reviews today. I do have an announcement, which I forgot to put in the post. We did, I said, which I almost forgot, that we were doing a giveaway for the people that posted plays in April. So we had 160 hashtags for April. It was ridiculous. It was so many. Thank you so much for supporting us with plays.tv and stuff like that. But yeah, the winner is shadowboxer87. That's your plays.tv account name. I'm not sure if it's your...
Also, in case anyone forgot, I gave away a skin to Victor from Australia, the Russian Victor.
For burning Ernie.
For burning Ernie the hardest. So if you guys show up to the live shows, there's a strong chance I'll give away a skin like every other week. Because I just like to make fun of things. And if you do a better job than me, free shit from me.
We're just going to have like toxic, flaming podcast room chat rooms whenever you're on the show.
All right. You're welcome.
We're like Twitch
no,
2.0.
you are welcome
Yep.
my chat.
All right, so yeah, Shadowboxer, let me know. Contact me, JustCasual, either on plays, on email, whatever. Just find a way to contact me. There's a lot of ways in the episode description. I don't know why I'm pointing downwards because that does not matter in this right now.
What, he's going to contact your dick? What? Hey, put that thing away there.
Yeah. All right, so is that it for the episode? I think that's it for the episode.
Yeah.
All right, that is episode 143 of the LOLA podcast. We will see you guys next week.
Peace out.
I'm really proud of the man you've grown to be, Sam.
Thanks, Fred. Thank you very much.